Hey guys, it's Creighton once again, coming back to you on our third part of my guide to the galaxy. It's a beginner's guide, so if you're an advanced player, go ahead and find maybe a more specific guide out there for your needs. But right now we're just going to briefly go over the healing in the game. There are 3 different classes of healer. You have the Commando, you have the Sage, and you have the Scoundrel. Each of them are equally as effective, but not the days of Sage stacking are over. So this isn't 1.2 anymore. So diversity in your raids is going to be the key. So the first one we're going to go over, because I have it selected, is the Scoundrel. In my opinion, out of all 3 of them, it is the most OP healer you can have. Mainly, its main heals come from HOTS and procs. So, you're going to use a few abilities that's going to proc your emergency med pack, which, depending on how you are as a healer, you're going to be able to spam that ability quite often, kind of maintaining your, the people you're trying to heal, your tank or your group. The AoE of the Scoundrel is moderately effective. It does a very decent job at what it's designed to do, which is just an area effect heal. Those of you who don't know what AoE stands for, it has a handful of heals. It's probably the basic, which is probably why it's most played, the basic rotation out of all of them. Very generous on its energy regeneration, so that just means you're not going to run out of resources to be able to keep healing, which is always a good thing for a healer. And like I said, it's one of the most popular heal classes as of the time. Right now, the time we are in 2.4, getting ready to launch for 2.5. No real significant heal changes are going to be made, from what I can tell. So the Scoundrel is going to maintain probably its, OP, in my opinion, in the healing. Now the next one we're going to talk about is the one that's least played that I've seen, which is the Commando healer. And the reason why I think it's the least played is because Commando DPS is so dang good that, let the other classes heal. But the Commando healing is also very effective. I mean, there are a few, actually probably more than a few, but those who decide to heal as a Commando can tell you, it's the bomb. It's really good. You have a few, like everything, you're just going to have a handful of abilities that you're going to be able to have to rotate. Versus using diagnostic scan, like the Scoundrel does, to maintain energy, you're going to use Hammer Shot and the healing cell on your target, your friendly target, to maintain your ammo, try to keep it as high as possible. You have the ability to put trauma probes on your target, whether it's going to be yourself, maybe the tank, maybe a threat stealer, maybe another healer. And what that does is a 13 stack, depending on how you are talented. And that's just going to give you a little extra help in the healing. It's just going to kind of trigger on its own whenever the target gets attacked. Just boom. Nice little small heal, but nice little heal. The nice thing about the Commando is it's very bursty in the healing. You can, depending on how you manage your cooldowns, you can launch 3 heals in about the course of 3 seconds. And that's mainly due to, as a Commando, you get an ability to make it so you can insta-cast something. And you then also have another ability that already is an insta-cast. So if you think about it, you channel 1 and then boom boom. There's 2 other heals, and that generally is going to be enough to get whatever target you're trying to heal up. I've noticed as I play it on my Commando healer, it seems to be a little bit more crit savvy than the other classes. All my numbers on all 3 of my healers are the same. I have a different Scoundrel healer that I play. So all 3 of those are the same. And it just seems like the Commando has a little bit more of that bursty heal that you're going to need. Now, to compensate that, out of all 3 healers, the Commando has the worst AoE heal. Now, you do get a benefit from the Commando using the AoE heal, which the people in its little goo, when he throws it out there, gets increased in healing, which is a nice thing to have, but it is the worst of AoE healing. So don't think you're just going to be AoE healing all day, every day on the Commando. That's just not the way it works. There is an ability where you can use that when you throw your AoE out, it does apply a small shield to your friendly targets to help them. So if you ever fall behind healing, also helps with the cooldowns of your other heals. So Commando healing, nice and effective as well. Now we're going to go to the Sage healing. Sage healing, since 2.0 has gotten a little bit more complicated, not a whole bunch more. I'm not saying that any of these are truly all that hard. Unlike the Commando and the Scoundrel, not really super effective on single targets. A lot of people could argue that. There are things you can do, and the Sage does make a very good, healing for the tank. The tank babysitter in a raid. But really where the Sage shines is the fact that it has the best AoE heal in the game. And, you just drop it down, whether you're dropping it on the ranged or you're dropping it on the melee, and it's very effective. You can get it to, proc upwards of 1,000 on a crit per tick, and that's just a nice little added bonus to have. The Sage also has the ability to bubble friendly targets, so that's also a nice little ability to have. Throw your bubble on the tank, hit them with the one hot that you have, which isn't superly effective, nowhere near as good as the Scoundrel. But if you're an op, you're also going to have another healer there, so they're going to hit them either with their hot or their trauma probe, and you're going to get your tank right up real quick. You do have the ability to kind of, as needed on a Sage, to pick and choose when you want your heals to crit. You have an ability which gives you, on your next 2 force attacks, whether it's friendly or you're in a DPS spec, for the next 2 force attacks to crit. Now, it doesn't necessarily always do the next direct 2, which is kind of strange. Maybe I just misread it. But it's nice. It's a nice little thing to have in your back pocket when you really need a big heal to come through. And you can pair that with your adrenals or your relic, or maybe your relic procced and you want to really deliver a nice big heal to your tank. Very nice thing to have as a Sage healer. The downside to Sage healing is it's the hardest one to manage your resources, so your total force, because it's not as generous as the Scoundrel or the Commando. You don't have that one heal ability where it's for free, like the hammer shot or the diagnostic scan. Every ability you use is draining force, so then you get an ability what's called Resplendence, and you get that in your talent tree, which procs off a crit from Healing Trance, and it stacks up to 3 times. I know, it may sound a little complicated to the people who are new. You can use that ability to which is very similar to other games, sacrifice your health in trade for more force. And that's really the key to Sage. You want to keep that's as vital in your rotation as a healer as your healing abilities, because without force you can't heal. Your bubble, due to your spec, if you spec it, you can bubble yourself and it supplies a very small hot on you, but a hot nonetheless. You can then hot yourself as well with your 1 hot ability. Now you have 2 on you, kind of, getting your health up a little bit there. You also have a insta heal that only heals yourself, and it can heal yourself from anywhere, moderately from 5k to sky's the limit. The highest I've seen is healed myself for 12,000. So I mean, it's just depending. But it's a nice little thing that you have to have in the back of your pocket due to the way the healing mechanics work. Now, with that being said, I still don't think that one heal class is harder than the other. All three of them have the greatnesses, all three of them have the weaknesses. One of them seems to be a little bit better, but you definitely don't want to stack them in a group just because the weakness of it is going to shine, which would be the Scoundrel. The Scoundrel doesn't really, it has very good in the HOTS. It could probably run through any op with both of them just fine, depending on the people who play them. You'll just might have little areas in which you're going to struggle. And that same goes with Sages and Commandos. A good mix. Oh, my computer just went to sleep here. Oh, sure hope you all can see my screen still. It's a great mix. It's a great thing to mix up your classes. So, one Sage, one Commando, one Scoundrel, however you're going to work it.